What's up, everybody? Welcome to Western Empire, and today we are going to basically be talking about a video that I think basically is the way I'm going to be doing this. There's this video that's addressing a lot of things that are going on right now. I'm going to try to nail all these things in one go. Okay, so this video has been circulating around the internet. It's gaining speed, but the most noticeable thing is that this is not the first video like this. In fact, this is one of many, and he hits on a lot of points. I'm going to play it for you now. We're going to break it down as it goes. If I can play it. There we go. And if I can unmute. Come on, bro.
I'm sure I speak for other people in my generation when people who are older say, oh, well, why are you not doing this? Or why are you not, out doing more? Or why are you upset? Or, you're being lazy. You're just lying around. Why aren't you doing more? Why are you just scrolling on your phone? Or if I'm in public and someone like a door greeter says, hey, how are you today? What I really want to tell them is, well, how the fuck do you think I'm doing? Like, I'm in a job that I can't stand, that I literally want to tear the hair out from this bulbs every single day.
I'm going to worry about that.
But I don't have a choice, because I have to work this kind of job to make money if I ever want to be able to live out on my own. And even with this job, even with the pay it gets, I'm never going to be able to afford a house. I'm never going to be able to afford certain things unless I work literally forever, unless I work myself to death.
Okay, so we're just going to touch on this real quick. One, he obviously has a point. This is one of the main points is why I'm of the belief that people need to take action now. We're not any longer in this, it's not getting better. It's not getting better. It hasn't gotten better in 20 years. It's not going to get better now. That's okay. That's why we do something about it. That's why men need to get up and start doing stuff about it. That's what this whole channel is about. That's what we're going to start doing, because we're at the end of the rope. He's right. He's probably never going to own a house. Most of the people watching this are probably never going to own land. You do realize that, right? You are probably, like he's saying, you're not going to retire. You think this country has it in wraps like you're going to retire? Really? You're not going to retire. You're not going to own land. What does that make you? Think back in history. What does it make you if you work endlessly for a system that does not care about you, and you'll never own land and also never retire? It makes you a slave. That's just so we're aware. That makes you a slave. If you are not a landowner, you are not a free man, essentially. All right, continue.
I don't like my job, but the job market is so terrible that I can't get another job, no matter how hard I try. And even if I do, it won't be much better.
So, and then tackling on this, the job situation. Anyone who is educated, has a good enough IQ, honestly, you shouldn't even need a super high IQ to have a job, but you do in this economy. It's really bad. You could go into the crafts, of course, but the job market's bad. There's a lot of people who have been sold a bag of goods. Jobs that even are not the highest tier do not pay enough for you to live. You're going to have multiple jobs, especially if you want to support a family. You're going to need at least 3, because you need 2 for yourself and then 1 for the other one, unless you're a high earner, unless you have high IQ, unless you went to a really good college, unless you are specifically very good at something like sales or something like that. You're going to need multiple jobs. And this is not even getting rich. This is just getting by. And that is a really bad thing for a society. It should not be that difficult to live and reproduce into a society. That is not good. That is a very strong sign of a society not supporting its population.
So the only hope is to try to make it in some hobby, which is extremely unlikely to happen. There's the whole thing where if you're single now, the odds that you're going to find someone are close to 0, just because of how awful this dating landscape is for people in this generation, how social media has destroyed it, how neither of the genders trust each other, both.
So I'll probably do a separate video specific on the dating thing, but yeah, we are in an absolutely terrible situation from the gender point of view of dating. There's a lot I want to say about this, but I'm going to make it quick. Is the genders are going to a certain point need to trust each other again, because we are not each other's enemy. There are shitty men and shitty women on both sides that have fucked everybody over. Anyone who's been in the dating game long enough knows this. Um, I, as somebody who has dated both great women and not great women, I can attest that both exist. But we have definitely perpetuated a culture of poor, toxic behavior in treating each other. And this has led to a lot of mistrust between the genders. As much as each side wants to say, oh, they did this and they did that, I'll never trust these bitches, I'll never trust these dudes, as much as that would give great satisfaction to the ego, we can't afford to do that anymore. We're gonna have to drop it. And men specifically, guys, probably going to be on us. I'm not saying women aren't like contributing everything, but you really think about this. What are the odds all women collectively are like, yeah, I'm going to take accountability for all the wrongdoings and all the things that feminine have done to undo the society? What are the odds that women collectively are like, yeah, we're going to do this? Pretty much zero. It's pretty much 0%. I'm not saying some women won't. I'm saying the majority of feminist women will almost definitely not do that collectively. Not unless they see it as beneficial to them. Okay? And this isn't a hate women video. I do not hate women, but it's just an acknowledgement of the behavior pattern that has been displayed over the last 2 decades of my life. Okay? That's it. And also, to caveat on top of this, men, it is our responsibility to lead. That is quite literally our genetic responsibility. We're going to have to lead them out of this. They're going to say lots of stuff. It does not matter. We got to get them out. And that means men, even though we might get hurt, we need to take the first step forward to correcting this. And this is going to be with having to learn to build trust with them. But also with setting extremely firm boundaries and then enforcing those boundaries immediately. Like immediately. So like if you're going out with a girl, everything's going great and there's some inconsistency, something with like the well, you see your phone, or the toxic behavior, you catch her in a lie, and that instantly just needs to be over. Instantly over. Like extremely strong crying, all that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm not kidding. Like it needs to be that strict because we cannot control women. Women are, in our age, completely autonomous, and honestly, they should be. They should get their rights and everything. And a lot of people disagree, but you know what I'm saying? Like, that's good. It allows them to be more than what they are. But we can't tolerate the shitty behavior because, like any human organism, if it learns it can get away with it, it will continue to do so. Children do the same thing. I'm not saying women are children, but it's the thought process. If I can get away with this, I'm going to do it again. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's up to men to hold the standard and then live by the standard and enforce the standard against anything that is thrown against it. And that will, in return, create respect and then a mutual kind of coming together between genders. And not all of them. There's probably going to be a ton. But the realistic thing is that we don't do this. We just die out, by the way. Like, birth rates are low, and this has to do with poisons and all these other things, but I'm getting way carried away with this. We need to do this. Like, it's not like no. Like, the alternate, which I think he's about to get into in this, is basically like, we just go extinct. Like, you just never reproduce. You just never have kids. And I'll say something on that in a sec.
The genders are at each other's throats. Both the genders blame each other for their problems. People have lost touch with how to communicate with people. There's that. There's also the fact that I am thinking right now, and a lot of people my age are thinking right now, like, yeah, I'm never going to be able to have kids. Bring someone into it unless you can be certain that they're not going to be suffering like people my age, especially the father part. It's probably not likely going to happen. Yeah. So you take all of that, and that is already just terrible and a perfect storm that people my age are navigating by the skin of their teeth. You take that, and then you also take decisions I've made that I take that. Decisions I've made that I...
Okay, well, I want to touch on that real quick. That was my bad. I accidentally skipped it. Okay, but he talks about basically not wanting to bring kids into the world, fatherhood, all these kind of things. Now, I understand what he's saying. Like, why would you want to bring a kid into the world if you can't support him, you can't do this, you can't do that? Okay. It is up to us. It's up to us. Do not listen to the older generations. They do not know what they put us here, okay? we need to be really clear. We can be at each other's throats, but it doesn't matter because we didn't do this. We just got here. If you're I'm in my 20s, so it's like if you're yes, I know I went bald early. I know. But if it's the older generation that quite literally chose to do this to us, I don't think out of malicious intent, but refusal of thought, which is not good. If you are like, it's like when somebody's getting abused and you just sit there and just don't do anything, you are guilty by association. That's a choice. Inaction is an action. And by refusing to basically better the future, they chose to live in the present, which is, oh, live it up, nothing can go wrong. That's great that mindset makes you feel really good. But there are people who come after you. And even if you choose to not have kids, which I am actually vehemently against, because you are also saying, I am choosing to refuse the life of another. This human experience should be, we've been tricked, but it should be more than just paying bills. And I understand why you're like, I don't want to bring kids into this. Existence needs to be more than this. We have been ployed. There's no way this is it. Just bills and stuff. And I can see why you wouldn't bring kids in, but we need to make a movement against this, and we need to fight against this. And if we just all refuse to have kids, we're basically just quitting. I understand every metric of why to delay having children, but I still wholeheartedly think we should be having kids. We should be fighting all the time to make this. And it is unfortunate that our forefathers, I'm talking about the ones in recent years, didn't do this for us. But we can't just complain anymore. Like, we are at the point now where we need to quite literally do something about it, where we will see the end of our bloodlines. And I know it's like, well, I don't want them to do. Think about the tens of thousands of years of humans that got you to now. You know how hard they fought? If they thought you would give up just because it was uncomfortable, and while as a human I obviously empathize and understand this, we can't just not. We can't just not. That is the thought process of recent generations, and we need to adopt the thought processes of ancient mankind. Like, I don't mean the dumb ape-like, but I'm talking about this fervor for life. Like, it needs to return, or we will go out. I'm very serious about this, and this is why I think we should be having kids. We should be having many kids. We should be fighting hard all the time to figure out how to make this happen, and then help each other once we do figure it out. I know there's a competitive nature to our society, especially in the West, but we got to start helping each other because we're struggling, and we're not each other's enemies. All right.
To take that, I also have body insecurities, like I'm sure most people do. So you pile all of that on, and that's how I'm doing. I'm doing fucking terrible. And I'm not someone who curses, but it's just like, I don't know, for emphasis, it's just like, how do you think we're supposed to be doing? And maybe now you know why we're lazy, or why we're just rotting in bed scrolling on our phones. It's because I literally can't see how I have a future.
Okay, that key moment. He cannot see why basically the future. The lack of vision in our country is abhorrent. And this is one of the biggest points to address. The lack of vision. He cannot see a future. And this is what we now need to build. Because no retirement, no home, no landing, no kids, no family. What's even the point of existence? This is the question. And this is why we need to remake our society. Not just fix. It's never going to be fixed. It needs to be remade. It needs to go under a rebirth. Because things are very far out of whack at this point. And this is what it starts to do to people. Like, mentally. It starts to, like, really crush, like, your morale. Like, you know. And, I think there's a lot of people that share this sentiment. And I think it's really indicative of a change that needs to happen now because it's not getting better. If it was going to get better, it would have gotten better a decade ago, and it didn't. Or maybe 2 decades before that, and it didn't.
This war and conflict that's going on, it's like, yeah, I'm doing terrible, like, and so are almost everyone. And it's so selfish, in my opinion, that people in the older generations will blame people in my generation for not doing well when it's like, okay, you're the cause of a lot of these problems.
Okay, so then he goes on to basically talk about the cause of all the problems, basically like kind of pinning it more and more on the older generation, which there is absolutely merit to that. Okay, I'm going to end the, not that, oh, sorry, I'm going to end the thing there. Just give me a moment. Okay, resume here. So basically what he's saying along all these lines is that the problems of the older generation have basically just been shoved off onto us. And we're at a point now where as a species and as a nation or collection of nations or a culture of the West, it's time to care. It's time to care, not like care like, oh, let's go do... Not, I'm talking like old-fashioned style care. It's not going to get better. Jobs are going to keep getting taken. AI is coming. You shouldn't just care. This should be your existence dedicated to it, to this mission. I'm not kidding. I can understand people's reluctance to it, but when history looks back, we got World War III on the horizon. Our entire government is beholden to foreign countries. Our leaders have totally abandoned us, which is terrible, with the exception of very, very few. We have people, well, I mean, our economy's bad. We have people who are just kind of giving up hope, giving up having kids. Fertility and health are in the absolute worst position they've ever been in all of human history, including the Black Plague, which is beyond crazy to me. That's beyond crazy. Like the overall health metrics. You should care because there's no future. Like, I'm not kidding. This isn't like oh, well, I'll just forget. That's great that our fathers and forefathers and grandfathers could just kind of, we'll handle it later. We cannot afford to do that. And this is for both men and women. Women, you need to step up. I know the party, all that, live your life. That's great that you want to do that. We are no longer in a situation where that's going to be the norm. It seems okay now. The cracks are showing and it will get worse fast. And men, we are no longer in a position where we can, like, not be men. We've kind of been lulled into this, like, well, just feel however you want. No. It's time to build. It's time to conquer. It's time to be men again in all its aspects. If we do not, we will be replaced. We will be taken out. We will go extinct. Like this guy's saying. He's like, I might just not have kids. You did not come into this earth, on this planet, in this existence. Think about it for a second. You did not come here to just work and die. That's the lamest thing I've ever heard. And if you do think that, get the fuck out of this channel. Like, what do you do? This is not the channel to have that thought process. This is the channel where I'm trying to cultivate, like, a community that wants to exist and wants to fight for this existence. Because I do think it's getting to a point where we can't afford to not do that anymore. I think we're there, but I'm not sure everyone's awake to it at this moment. But we need to be there. Anyways, we need to remake this nation. It's basically a nation that has given in to just like the whims of greed and just kind of really low morals and just like it's freedom taken way too far. And I do think freedom should be absolutely respected because it's a crucial part of existence. But what we have done is beyond okay. And when you have a society and a nation where nobody agrees on anything, everybody's against each other, and there's no moral underpinning, you don't have anything. because no one's willing to fight and die for it. And if you have no one that's willing to fight and die for it, you don't have anything. It's not real. It can just be taken by the highest bidder. And the people within it are just kind of treated like batteries that basically give out their energy by working, that's given out to other people. And that's not what this country should be. I just don't think that's what this country should be. I don't think that's what the West should be. And this is happening not only just in the United States, this is happening in Europe too. And I don't think this is okay. And I think it's time for us to really start doing something about it. All right, until next time, everybody, I will see you with another video. Hope everyone does well, and peace.